Welcome to another episode of Mining Our Business. I am Mikhail Johnson.
And I am Shornavay Walker.
Today, we speak with Samuel Millington, President of the Mining and Quarrying Association of Jamaica. The Mining and Quarrying Association of Jamaica serves as a unified voice of the island's quarrying industry. Established to support and advocate for quarry operators, the association plays a vital role in fostering collaboration, promoting sustainable practices, and ensuring adherence to industry standards and regulations. The MQAJ provides its members with valuable resources, training opportunities, and a platform to address common challenges. It works closely with government agencies, stakeholders, and community groups to enhance the sector's contribution to Jamaica's economic development while prioritizing environmental stewardship and safety. In this interview, we'll explore the pivotal role of the MQAJ, its initiatives, and the ways it supports quarry operators in navigating the complexities of the industry. Mr. Millington, thank you for joining us for this interview.
Thanks for coming.
So Sam, tell us, what is the Mining Quarrying Association and what is its mandate?
Well, the Mining and Quarrying Association is a limited liability company and it's incorporated to advance the professionalism and the development of standards, the economic viability of quarrying in Jamaica, to educate, to inform, and to encourage sustainable mining practices that will live way beyond 100 years, 200 years. Jamaica is enriched with many minerals, and we have certainly centuries of mining to do if it's done properly.
Now, we know that the quarrying industry is a critical one to Jamaica's economy. Sure. Could you give us a brief overview of what the sector is like and the role the MQAJ plays in it?
Well, this sector is island-wide, and you have limestone, which is almost everywhere in Jamaica. And then you have the river stones that's concentrated mostly in the southern belt from Clarendon back to St. Thomas and parts of Portland and St. Mary. The main quarrying material in Jamaica are aggregates, and it's limestone, and the sands are mostly from the river stones, and that's what's used mainly in the construction industry. So we have a wide variety of minerals that can sustain any major construction project on the island. We also have the technology. Our operators have the technology to produce stones of varying quality, size, and to fit any of the standards that guides the industry.
Okay. And what would you say is the current demand for core-related products in Jamaica?
I think it sits somewhere around 5 million tons a year.
What are the challenges facing quarry operators in Jamaica? And can you identify opportunities in which they could advance or better themselves?
Well, the quarrying industry and the aggregates business generally, not just in Jamaica, but anywhere, it's a logistics business. So you have to be strategically located to the markets. So from a location point of view, quarry operators have to position themselves to be near where the logistics are easy. From the mine to the processing plant is easy. From your plants to the marketplace is the cheapest cost. In Jamaica, there's currently an issue where a lot of the construction is happening in the northwest corridor of Jamaica. That's where most of the hotels are being built. But a lot of the construction material, they are in the southeast part of the island. And you have trucks traveling more than 100 miles from places into the Montego Bay region, for instance, to take. So a lot of more thought have to be placed how to get the types of materials that you need on that belt. And there's some deposits in that part of the island that needs to be explored.
Mm. And how do you consider the core government regulations affect core operators?
Well, the government regulations in of themselves are not a problem for quarrying operations. They've been established over a long time. They're well known. Sometimes enforcement is the problem, but it's not really a problem. How government can help the quarrying sector is to help in the logistic process of the industry. right? And when you say logistics, it's where the ports are, how you access them, how much it costs to access these ports, and the big single other factor that the government could help quarrying industry in Jamaica is with the cost of fuel and energy. The cost of fuel in Jamaica it puts us outside the normal ranges for any country in this region. It's higher than the rest of the Caribbean. It's higher than the US, and it presents a challenge. And the same arrangements that are made with the bauxite companies, for instance, where you pay less taxes, it would be very useful for the core industry, and it would make building in general cheaper for Jamaicans if you could reduce the cost of fuel. So it would have broad economic benefits for the country if you reduce that one single thing. If you look at the cost structure of quarrying in Jamaica compared to other countries in the region, you'll find that if you take all the main factors that affect quarrying, the one that we perform best on is a source of raw material. We have the cheapest source of raw material. But when you start adding all the costs, labor in this industry is not cheap because the skills, the persons who operate heavy duty equipment, etc., they're highly paid, they're scarce, and you have to pay them. And fuel is a big number. So it negates a lot of the comparative advantage where there's lots of limestone, there's lots of river stones to be used. It diminishes the value of that. So we need to bring the mining closer to where those resources are. The government needs to make sure their infrastructural development, like the roads into these areas, need to be made stronger, make better networks. Where we had rails for the bauxite industry, for instance, we could repair some of them and move some of the quarrying to those areas, so the logistics is better for the market.
Okay, you've voiced a wide range of challenges that the association and its members has, and you could almost say that the MQAJ is almost like a lobby group. But how exactly do you represent these concerns of the members?
Well, the concern of the members, we lobby on the members' behalf, and we are now part of the minerals policy development or revision in Jamaica, and our concerns will be made known there. We've been fortunate to be afforded the opportunity to chair the incentives subcommittee of the new minerals policy, and it will provide a very good platform to enunciate what's important for industry. And we're very grateful for that, and we appreciate that the government saw it fit to appoint the Mining and Quarrying Association as a chair for that. So I'd like to thank the persons in the Ministry of Mining, especially Dr. Rainford, and so on, to have the foresight to appoint us to that chair, because we have all the information and all the necessary data to support whatever position we'll ask.
Now, as quarrying continues in Jamaica, one of the many questions we have regarding it is environmental sustainability. How are the quarrying operators and the Mining Quarrying Association of Jamaica managing the balance between the demand for natural resources and its environmental sustainability?
Well, one of the things with mining and quarrying in Jamaica right now is the miners and quarry operators are much more aware of the impact that they have on the environment. And our association tries every day to educate persons on how this can be done. On a structural level, what we need to do is to be very careful from a government point of view how we're zoning mining. Because mining in itself can have challenges. So we want to locate mines in areas where their housing encroachment is not there, and issues like that. Because mining is not something that anybody can do without. We need to mine for roads. We need to mine for houses. We need to mine for paints. We need to mine for so many things. So there's no point trying to eliminate mining or to give mining a bad rap. What we need to do is to give mining a level playing field, a place where they can operate, and then the government can hold them accountable for their performances. So you can't have a mine and you bring housing on the periphery. You're going to blast, you're going to move trucks, and it's going to have some challenges. So we have to be careful of those things.
Now, the world is moving at a fast pace, changing at a fast pace, whether it be political, social, and so forth. How is the association assisting its members to adjust to these changes, say with climate change, scarcity of materials, and so forth?
Well, the way our mining association is structured, we have you have a president, where I'm the president, you have a first vice president, and you have a second vice president, you have a treasurer, and you have the admin staff, etc. And their roles are well defined within the organization. My role is as a president is the overall responsibility. The first vice president is the technical person to help with technical advancement of its members. And the second vice president's role is to help with the marketing, say, for members, and also to aggregate suppliers where we can have cheaper materials into the association, or to inform people how to do things better.
Now, sir, what would you say is the significance of the quarrying industry's contribution to the Jamaican society?
Well, if you notice, for the last number of years, one of the biggest contributors to the GDP growth been mining and quarrying, and the numbers speak for themselves. And in all the quarters that the GDP growth has fallen is when mining has fallen. So mining has been the single largest mover of wealth in Jamaica. And when mining started to fail, as in the bauxite industry, our wealth went with it as well. So we should not take it lightly. It's a large foreign exchange earner in the country. It provides highly technical people. It provides high-paying jobs. And you can move communities with mining. If you look at mining communities in Jamaica where they have been, they're some of the most developed communities that you can see. They have better housing, better schools in many areas, and we must not lose sight of how important mining is. That said, mining can be problematic, and miners have to be aware that they have to follow the regulation, and that's part of the Mine and Quarrying Association mandate. We're not going to condone persons doing things that are wrong for mankind. We want to do the right things, and we are trying to promote that every day in our association.
You spoke a little bit about the technical aspect of the association, persons responsible for that. And matters of technology. How are operators adapting to technology? And does the association actually promote the use of technology among its members?
We sure do promote the use of technological changes among its members, and members are adopting better in even how they mine. They're using different, what you refer to loosely as ground implementation tools. You know, like many years ago, a lot of mining that occurred was done by bulldozers, which is not the most efficient way to mine. The use of excavators have advanced that. Combined blasting makes it better. And now you have some companies like Liquid Mining who have invested heavily in what they call a surface miner, which works very efficiently in mining, eliminating blasting, eliminating noise, makes it more environmentally friendly for benching and that sort of thing. So land can be prepared for housing development and for other purposes after the quarry. So I think in time you're going to see more of these technologies. So instead of seeing large holes or deep holes somewhere in quarries, you're going to see flat level surfaces that can be handed over to agencies like the National Housing Trust and so on to build homes. And if you visit some of these quarries using this technology, you'll see it clearly.
Now, Sam, do you believe that Jamaica has the potential to become a bigger exporter of quarry products?
Yeah, we do have the potential to be bigger, much bigger. And we just have to get costs right, internal costs right, and logistics right. So we have to align ourselves with where the market is growing, who are our off-takers when we export, how sustainable their operations are, and then we can get it right. But we have to work to keep our costs down because, as I said before, we have an abundance of material and it's very cheap. But when you add transportation costs for use of ports, use of trucks, fuel costs, and labor costs, it adds up and you're placed in very marginal advantage with just marginal advantages in the marketplace. So you'll find that where there's an adequate supply of aggregates in those markets, it's hard to compete. You'll compete more in where there's scarcity, right? Or where there's a boom. That's where you can compete. So we need to position ourselves so we can compete in any situation. So we can be at the seat of the table with the biggest and the best and be competing in a fair way.
You had mentioned earlier that one of the challenges faced by operators is that most function within communities. Residential areas are close by, and there can be challenges. Now, how does the association promote that their members work with communities to eliminate or to reduce matters such as noise, blasting, or any kind of distractions of any sort?
Well, what the Mine and Quarrying Association does in communities is to make sure they're integrated into the community framework. They're part of the education system. They're part of the welfare of members. And most of the persons that are hired in these quarries or mines, they are from the communities. So the salary goes back into the community. The biggest complaint you have in communities around mine areas is dust. Right? And what is happening now, there are two things that's reducing. You have trucks that can take more, so there are less frequency of truck in the community, same tonnage. So, for instance, trucks can now take 45 tons when they used to take 25. So you need one truck. And a 25-ton truck is going to have the same dusting issues as a 45-ton truck. So that's one method to reduce it. Now, with that comes some challenges in that many of these areas that quarries are, the roads are underdeveloped. They were not built properly. They were just communities with very small. So at a governmental level, they need to make sure that the roads in quarry communities are more sturdy so they can stand up to the traffic that flows, right? If you look at the highways in Jamaica, you see hundreds of mining trucks on them every single day, and they're perfect because they were built for purpose. So the government needs to build roads for purpose in mining communities, because mining, we should not put ourselves in a position in mining where we're afraid to call ourselves miners, because it's one of the most important industries in Jamaica. You know, mining, many of our members supply materials to the feed companies that produce eggs and produce other things, because there needs to be calcium in the chicken bones, in the egg shells, for instance. The paint you have on your house, it's almost 100%. It's only a very small fraction of the material that's needed from minerals in the paint that doesn't come from Jamaica, and it's supplied right here. So a lot of persons are not aware. So from a ministry point of view, we need to build awareness of the importance and the minor things that are in everyday life for these things. For mining, we're in a hurricane belt. We import a lot of zinc roofing and that sort of roofing, almost always imported. The material, it's most of it is imported. We can make roofs in Jamaica with only importing the steel for it.
Wow.
Because you can make it from concrete, and their roofs would be resilient. They're not need to be replaced for 100 years. So the government should promote the reconstructions of homes with concrete roofs. Some of our members recently in southern St. Elizabeth used engineers from the Jamaican Institute of Engineers to design a tin slab for houses there that would be resilient for the next hurricane. Because Beryl did a number in many parts of southeast and southwest St. Elizabeth. And the Mine and Quarrying Association members rose to the occasion, and they helped to modify homes there using concrete. So that was a very good project, and I think the ministry maybe should take a visit to some of those areas to understand what was done by quarry operators to make houses there more resilient, right? And support people's lives.
Okay, so as we journey into the new year, 2025, what would you say are the goals for the Mining Quarrying Association in Jamaica?
Well, the goals of the Mine and Quarrying Association this year is to make sure we're a much more professional body, a much more cohesive body, make sure we're doing the right things to sustain and to grow business and to take long-term decisions in mining that will have an impact on the industry, not just next month or next year, but to have 5, 10, 20 years impact that's sustainable in our country. And we can provide an industry where youngsters who are around can aspire to being a part of that industry. And that's what would be a very fulfilling thing for the Mine and Quarrying Association if we can make an industry in Jamaica where everybody would see its importance and everybody could earn from the growth of this industry.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Millington, for the past couple of years, I think we have experienced a boom in the construction industry in Jamaica, whether it be the construction of highways, high-rise buildings, and so forth. How do you see the industry in the next 5 to 10 years in Jamaica in terms of technology, demand, and regulations? What does the industry look like?
Well, we think it will continue to grow. The regulations that we follow in Jamaica are international regulations. Like many quarry operators in Jamaica, for their stones, they follow the ASTM standards, which is a global standards. You know, it's adopted mostly by the Americans, but we follow those. Yeah. The Bureau of Standards of Jamaica is also getting very active in this industry, and they're making sure that persons in the industry are adapting to their standards. They've developed new standards at the Bureau of Standards and the quarry operators, and they're having seminars to let persons know that these are necessary to certify quarry operators and to make sure that we're at international standards. Because if you don't have the proper background and the proper building blocks, then there's nowhere to go. You know, your products are going to be questioned for these high-rise buildings. But we are confident that our operators can provide high-quality, engineered stones for any major building projects in Jamaica. We don't need to import a single ounce, and we can rise to the occasion and be the premier supplier of high-quality aggregates at affordable cost to the industry. We could do better if the government addressed some of the things that plagues us, right? So,
thank you for watching. We hope today's discussion shed light on the vital role quarry operators play in Jamaica's development, as well as the challenges and opportunities within the industry. Stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to explore the mineral sector and the people who power it. Until next time, let's keep building a stronger, more sustainable future together.